So do yourself a favor, check out the Carlisle Cult Cinema Club, and don't forget not just to rate it, but also to subscribe on YouTube or Facebook.
Stephen King, author of Carrie, said, Evil Dead is the most ferociously original horror film of the year. If you think he's kidding, see for yourself. Evil Dead. They got up on the wrong side of the grave. Evil Dead.
Welcome to the Carlisle Cult Cinema Club. Tom Sullivan, the man behind the iconic Kandarian dagger, the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, Book of the Dead from the Evil Dead. So please welcome to the show, special effects genius, Tom Sullivan.
Thank you very much.
Show, Tom.
Artist too. How about that?
Yes, great artist.
Thank you.
Very good artist, which we'll get into. So I've heard it all started for a young Tom after he watched King Kong on the TV with your brother.
Yes, it did. One Saturday morning, we flipped on the TV, and in a couple of minutes it was starting, and I hooked me and my brother immediately. And we made it through half the film, and in the middle of Kong fighting the T-Rex, my dad yells upstairs, "Come on, guys, we got to go to the lumber yard." "No, Dad, the coolest movie's on." And I was like five years old, something like that. And so as soon as it was back, I turned the TV back on. Of course, the film was long over. And I had a great mom who scoured the TV guide for the next year, and it found it playing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I invited all my friends over and saw it complete for the first time. And boy, did it hook me. It's just an amazing bit of imaginative storytelling, especially for that era. This is decades, half a century or more before, computers and CGI and all that stuff. And holy cow, it just blew my mind. I'll never forget it. Yeah, and I had to do it. I had to find out how he did it.
Yeah, I mean, Wills O'Brien stuff was just groundbreaking of its time, wasn't it? And still looks fabulous today.
Absolutely. He pioneered so many things, like the Cinerama and all kinds of special effects, and the compositing of people with dinosaurs, which Ray Harryhausen used effectively, and turned his work into an amazing career. 17 movies. Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, Harryhausen must have been a big influence on you as well.
Absolutely. And I got to meet the gentleman a couple of times, and that was thrilling.
Nice. Yeah. I reckon he was a really nice guy and very economical with his time.
That's what I understand. I mean, he was very kind to me. The last time I saw him was in San Jose at a convention, and he was a guest there. And Phil Tippett was in the audience, and Jim Danforth, and but boy, Ken. Why am I blanking on his name? Terrific animator. He did the Primevals. I'm having a brain fart.
Oh, yes, I know who you mean, and I can't think of his name. He done all the stuff for Full Moon, didn't he?
But the Puppet Masters and all that.
Yeah,
it'll hit me in a couple of minutes. And I'm an old man, so I he at the time, a friend of mine, Bob Meese, and I had worked together and got a stop motion armature company going called Illusion Engineering, and where we made the ball and sockets out of aluminum, so they were lighter weight, and you could mass produce them. We'd forge them, and then have them forged. A specialist did it for us, and so all you had to do was drill and tap. One plate would have the clear hole in it. And the other one would be threaded, so you could just thread them together. And it was brilliant. Bob designed those, and it's still in business. It's check it out on Illusion Engineering. What's it called? Yeah, Illusion Engineering, I think it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
And
Your first armatures you made were
you frozen
made
up.
out
Have
of,
I frozen up?
No. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Your first, yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah,
Your
hear
first
you fine.
Your first armatures were made from lollipop sticks, weren't they?
Well, I made one out of that. Yeah, a little armature, just figure, and ball, wooden balls I got from a bead shop or something, and stuck together with little dowel rods and all that. But that was only for like animating the armature. It wasn't strong enough to put any foam rubber or anything over that on it. Do you
No.
want to check to see if we're getting any breakups or?
No, it seems to be okay at this end. So we'll just keep going
Okay,
right through. Don't worry about it. I don't edit.
sure.
It just all goes out as it is, so it'll be fine. Don't worry about it, Tom.
Okay,
And I've got
we're
to
good.
say, from what I've seen online and things, your artwork is something else, and obviously the piece behind us. What can you tell me about Cry of the Thulu?
Yep, you're breaking up again.
What can you tell me about Cry of the Thulu?
You froze.
Can you see me?
No, you froze.
Have you got
What
me
was
again?
that? You froze up again.
All right. What can you tell me about Cry of the Thulu?
Oh yeah. Back in boy, when would that have been? About 78 or so, 79. Uh, I met a guy, Bill Gates, and uh, he and another fellow were putting together a film, a very low budget film based on Lovecraft's stories, not one of his stories, but their own story based on his lore, and called The Cry of Cthulhu. And I had a script, but it wasn't anything like what they were asking me to illustrate.
Right.
The script itself was more like a zombie film with a character and his wife, Farron Church, out in Stuttgart, Germany, in the Black Forest, and where things he'd inherited a castle and which Bill lived in, kind of this cool old castle in Jackson, Michigan, and it was a very neat location. And they were going to use that, and then the zombies or whatever they were came out. But what I was asked to design was the lead character Farron is in his dream state. He boards a shantak, which is a giant flying creature, and taken to unknown Kadath, a alien civilization on some distant arcane planet. And he would go around, and all the buildings are just made out of one piece of stone. There's no blocks or anything, and it's empty, and it's a cyclopean place. It's just gigantic. And so I did those illustrations and others where he's tormented by the great race of Yith, these long stalked headed cone shaped bodies with pincers for hands, but they're
Nice.
wise scientists. And then his uncle had opened a portal, and who the previous owner of the castle, and had let all these things out, and like Yog Sothoth and others, and so it was going to be a gigantic, cool film. And I did a bunch of illustrations, which I own the copies to, and I even have prints all set up to print. They're all, I have them in packs and stuff, and uh, it's a it was going to be gigantic. We started contacting special effects people like Ernie Farino and Craig Reardon and one or two others, and just to alert them and get the things together. And with my artwork, we got some press on Starlog and Cinefantastique magazines, which is both are defunct at this point, I believe.
Yeah.
And but that helped them go out to L.A. and pitch the film idea. They actually got an offer of $150,000 from Dino De Laurentiis for it, and the idiots didn't take that because we could have gone back, come up with another film. It made 3 films for $50,000 back in 1979.
Yeah.
You could shoot it on 16 millimeter like we did Evil Dead, and that would have been, we could have done that. I had skills and effects, at that time, because Evil Dead also started in 79. And anyway, that would have been cool. Wouldn't have been the same level of scale because Dino De Laurentiis would have had his own crew on it and everything. But that was oh darn. And anyway, they pitched it to a couple of others, but nothing ever happened with that. And it's still a neat idea. And oh darn.
So
okay.
After that, how was it you met Sam Raimi?
This is back in my married days. Penny, my wife, was going to MSU, and after a couple months there, I read about the MSU Creative Filmmaking Society, and they were showing films of Sam's that he had made in his junior high and high school years, and he and his friend Rob Tappert would rent a auditorium, which you could get for real cheap at if you're on living on campus at MSU, Michigan State University, and they would show his comedies and charge like $3, I think, and I'm not sure they ever made enough money to pay for the room. But we'd get a pizza after I showed up and talked to him, and I was really impressed with what he could do. And when I met him, Sam was already an encyclopedia of film technique, and it was all from the point of view of how do you affect an audience. That's what he was really sensitive to, was all the little tricks and gimmicks of how to get it, how to hold and excite an audience. And darn if he hasn't applied that to his art incredibly well. He's a hugely successful director these days, and I'm so glad I got to work with him. He made us all look good, and he had Evil Dead all mapped out in his head before he shot anything. No storyboards for Evil Dead, but he knew just the shots he wanted for the whole thing.
Because you worked on obviously the proto Evil Dead Within the Woods, and you've done all the effects and things for that as well, didn't you? Before,
yeah,
which was what they made to kind of show people this is what we're going to make, kind of thing.
Yeah. Also, it was kind of an acid test to see if me and some of the actors were up to the scale. Ellen Sandweiss and Bruce Campbell were in it, as well as the late Scotty Spiegel, who played Scotty in the film. Sadly, he just passed away about 2 weeks ago. And darn, he was an amazing character and a generous friend. And boy, he put me in his movie as an extra, Hostel 3 that he directed.
Yes, that's right.
He filmed it in Detroit at the Greek Casino, and it was the best job I ever had. For 9 hours, I got to watch the beautiful Rebecca dance, who was one of the beautiful dancers there. And holy cow, it was great. And I liked his films. I liked him a lot. He was one of the funniest characters I'd ever met. Just genuinely funny people. Him and Sam were always on, on like showbiz on.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was like hanging around two of the Three Stooges. It was just they both loved the Three Stooges, and uh, it was so much fun to watch that.
Well, you can see that in just about every piece of Sam's work that is a Stooges fan, because he's got some kind of Stooges pratfalls in just about everything, usually involving Bruce.
Oh, oh yeah, right.
And then that brings us to The Evil Dead, the greatest film of all time. Um, my favorite film of all time, up there with Dawn of the Dead for me. Um, and what was that like? You know, going to work on, because I mean, the God effects was superb.
Thank you. It was I don't know, like varied from 10 to 13, 15 people living in a house. All the guys were sleeping on the floor. The ladies got the bedrooms with the mattresses. And I had a section of the basement that was my studio for creating things, and also the kitchen. I'd use that from time to time. And at night, I would hang around the dinner table upstairs and talk with Josh Becker, another talented filmmaker, and who was I think like second unit photographer or something like that. And but he was also like a high level gopher fella.
Yeah,
And we'd talk movies and smoke my joints. And uh, uh, and most of the time I was drawing the Evil Dead, the Book of the Dead, at that time. And so I'd get a couple of pages done a night, and we were kind of filming in order, a chronological order of the film,
yeah,
for the most part. So the book was done before they got to the cabin, and Sam didn't need the pictures in it. He just needed a book cover. And I've told the story many times about how I got the book cover, the influenced by the wife of a Nazi commandant who had uh, prisoners skinned and made uh, lampshades, curtains, and book covers out of their skin. And so I
nice.
just thought, well, to recognize that it was human, I made it a face, and had a latex casting of Hal Delrich, a mold of Hal Delrich, and did about 5-6 layers of latex in that. Pulled it out, and peeled it over the book cover, and instant history. And but I, being an illustrator, and I'd finally gotten my skills. By the time I met Sam, I thought I was good enough to start selling stuff. And you know, so I wanted to draw on everything. I drew on the cover of my script, which just went up for auction, and so I started drawing the pages, and I used the lore from Sam and the script, and things that I made up, and the few descriptions that Sam had given me. It was written by the Dark Ones in ancient Sumeria, and I had no idea what a Sumerian was, and I was miles from a library down in Tennessee to find out what that is. So I just assumed things, and I figured it was drawn by the Da Vinci of ancient Sumeria, and I'd love to see a movie about that, because
Yeah,
I'm sure that my idea is that some ancient wizard who had put more or less a scientific approach to summoning and manipulating the supernatural had unlocked these deadite demon things, whatever force that was, and maybe others. And it could have only gone bad because in the end, in the book, it has pages dedicated to the act of bodily dismemberment, which meant that's the only way you can stop them is just chop them up so the pieces aren't useful anymore. They're still dead, but deadite,
yeah,
And
that's it.
that, I think that would be a fun story. Be expensive because you'd have to create a whole new world, and but I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds it. And Sam said that you were the one reason the Evil Dead got made because you could create these incredible effects using very cheap materials. What was it you kind of used mostly?
Uh corn syrup blood. That was Sam's recipe. He'd come up with it. He had a theory about movie blood that people's perception of blood is different from the actual material that leaks
Yeah,
out of our bodies. In that it's to us it's thicker and perhaps a bit deeper in color, but his recipe was you take a jug of corn syrup and mix in a whole bottle of red food coloring and then one drop of blue, uh, and stir it up. Now the blue knocks the yellow out of it because it reacts. If you the red
mm.
itself kind of reacts in film to become kind of a little bit on the orange side and doesn't look real. And so one drop of blue, and then you mix up instant coffee in water, uh, like a half a cup or so, and pour that in and stir that up. That makes it opaque. It also turns it into coffee syrup. And uh, we'd I would when people needed to bleed, I'd have these oh inch I don't know 3/4 inch clear plastic tubes. Excuse me, and I would fill it up the tube up with the blood, and then fill my mouth up with the blood, so I could blow like 5 or 6 pumps and look like somebody's
Yeah,
aorta is bleeding out and whatever. And for horror film shot, that's all you need, 5 or 6 pumps. And like in Japanese samurai films, they had something like a bug sprayer, and that they would hook that up so it just sprays 30 feet. Humans don't do that, but
no.
it's a
Hey,
fun
but it all
effect.
looks good on camera.
And but I didn't want to. Definitely didn't want to do that. And uh, so but that was it. And then I had a 1 gallon jug of R&D latex, which I used to make the foam leg, and one or two other things. But that and latex, liquid latex, which I didn't have time to. Well, I had sculpted some. I had made molds of the actors' faces, everybody but Bruce, because he only had bruises on him. I could paint those on with makeup, and but the others, would turn into deadites, and so I needed to change their faces into demonic things. And Sam had the idea that they became caricatures of their characters, uh, and I had sculpted kind of my idea of ancient Sumeria. I thought they would be like proto-Egyptians. I don't even know where
Mm.
Sumeria was back then, but so I had I think Linda was like uh, a snake, and one of them was like a more of a bird thing, uh, and Scotty was a dog, and I can't remember the other one was. But anyway, I had these clay sculptures, and I showed them to Sam, and I made castings of them. And he said, "Nah, it's looking too much like Planet of the Apes." And so he came up with the idea of the caricatures. So we turned. I used the one for Scotty as a dog because he betrays his friend. And so I
Mm.
thought, well, that's a good dog. So that's the only prosthetic one, but that was just a liquid latex face on him. And the others, we decided that because Ash idealizes Linda, she would become a like a doll, like a mannequin doll. And
Yes.
so I like doll faced her up, and then had Sam's mom owned a beauty shop and had a mannequin there, and I cast the mannequin face and turned it into a mask and cut out around the eyes and stuck that onto onto um, Betsy Baker's face. and that became that. But there are various stages to these the Deadites, and Ellen became she became like I stole from Dick Smith's Exorcist makeup, and this dark around the eyes and
Yeah.
pale face and uh, crappy teeth. The stuck little bits of the black wax tooth stuff in there and in between her teeth, so they'd look awful. And it was terrific to. And Ellen was had veins radiating out from her eyes, black veins, and that was one of the concepts. That was the first makeup I did for Linda, for Cheryl or Betsy Baker, and that was the first effect shot we shot. If you look closely, when Ash drags Linda out of the cabin, she's got that makeup on, but she's kind of in a distance, so you can't really tell. And but that was the first shot we did, and it was just starting to turn morning. We'd shot all night, and fortunately, the sky hadn't changed that much. So, but it was the first horror thing we'd done, and Betsy's performance left us all stunned. And it was like, oh yeah, we're making a horror film, and her shrieks and everything, and struggling, and her possessed deadite stuff was just so spot on. I was so lucky that I had actors who took this seriously and really, really sold the makeup and their parts. They're really underrated for that, and boy, I love them all. They're all just terrific folks, and I wish them all the best.
And from what I've read there, from what I've seen, they all loved you as well. And I believe you were the weed man on set. They all came to you for the weed. You've been given a
Well, the
pound of
only
weed or
one.
something.
Oh no, only 3 ounces,
Right.
less than a quarter pound. And it was really stupid to take that down to Tennessee because I'd still be in prison there. But only Josh and I smoked, except for the one joint that they're passing around the fireplace. Being the art director, unpaid, uncredited art director, I was responsible for making that. And I don't believe any of them got high before that. And so your first joint, you don't get high. It takes like a couple weeks before you acclimate to it. But they fooled me. That looked like it didn't high. It's a
Yeah.
mild euphoric. It's the safest medical material you can
Completely.
put into your body, actually.
Completely. I use it for my condition. So I completely
Hello.
understand that. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Are we back?
Yeah, you froze for a second.
All right,
Yeah.
right, no problem. So, how hard was it to animate the vines in for the tree scene?
Well, it was all done live action. Just a couple of tricks that Sam used. Like, there's a shot where the vines are wrapped around, wrapping around Ellen's, what's her name?
Ellen Samwise's
Cheryl's leg.
Cheryl, yeah.
And but what they did is they wrapped it around and then pulled it away and then printed it backwards, and which is simple. And then I had things where I would hold the stick and poke it into a pre-cut for it's like a close-up of her shirt, and we had cut her nightgown, her I don't know what she would call it, but her pajama thing, and I'd made a wound there, put a wound on her body, and then we put her in the pre-cut thing, and it was like held together with wax. So all you had to do was stick it into the shirt and pull it down, and it looked like the vine tore it. And then other shots where she's struggling with them, we just wrapped the vines that they found in the forest and things like that, and pretty simple, and but very effective. It's a showstopper for sure.
Oh, it's brilliant. How long did the end effects take? Where the bodies are starting to explode and melt.
Oh, the clay animation stop motion finale. Yeah, I
Beautifully
love that.
done, yeah.
That's 3.5 months doing that, and we did some extra little shots that Sam needed, such as Cheryl on the ground, and she's did she get her hand? She's lost her hand. No, Ellen, I think it was. I can't remember. But somebody's lost their hand and there's blood, there's milk spurting out of it. We did that shot, and that was one of Rob Tappert's sisters being a fake shemp. You know that term?
Yeah, the fake shemps.
And we had the floor, and it was tilted up so I could get underneath it. And I'm manipulating with a pole that came out of the arm through a hole in the floor. I'm manipulating that and blowing the milk out as we shot that. And yeah, it's all day's work. And some other couple of things.
It's that final meltdown with the claymation is absolutely brilliant, and still to this day, I think it stands up because it gives it that kind of otherworldly feel.
Thank you. That's what I was hoping for. I designed and created that idea. Sam wanted me to make balloons of the Cheryl and Scotty characters and have them deflate and have smoke come out. And all I thought was that's going to be laughable. It's just compared to all the gore in the film up to that point, and there's lots of it. You're welcome. We needed something spectacular for a finale, and just like fireworks finale, I'm not sure if you've seen a 4th of July weekends fireworks show in America, but they shoot one off and boom, shoot one off and boom, shoot one off and boom, and for the finale it's like a war. Suddenly blam blah 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 blah, and that goes on for a couple minutes, and then with the last big one, boom, and so I kind of thought along that lines, and I did about 9 storyboards kind of showing it, and sold Sam on the idea of clay animation, not claymation. That's a patented Will Vinton thing. It's clay animation, and claymation was a thing at that time, I believe. They were doing commercials, but they oh no. But yep. I got a phone call and I declined it. I'll call him back. And Sam introduced me to Bart Pierce, and he also loves stop motion animation, and however, he was under the impression, his opinion was at that point, was that stop motion was kind of like dead. And he was not up for doing a clay animation thing. He wanted to do it all practical effects. And apparently he had visited the cabin, but I don't remember him being there. I know I was really swamped and busy and everything, but he helped out with a shot or two there. And so months after we'd left Tennessee, and it was like April or May, and things were starting to pick up again. Sam had edited together some footage into a commercial, into a like a long trailer to interest more investors to get some more money to finish the thing. And we had to do some shooting. I live in Marshall, Michigan, and about 40-50 miles north of me is Lansing, Michigan. And Sam had a friend with a home up there had a woods in the backyard, so we could shoot some. The Vine rape scene was filmed there, most of it.
Right. Yeah.
And so we went up there and we shot that stuff. But Bart Pierce picked me up in his van, and we drove up there. That was like the really first time we officially met. And I get into the van and we start talking about the finale. and we have completely different positions. I want the clay animation, and he wants practical stuff. And so by the time we're up there, we're not friends. And as soon as we opened up the door, and there's Sam in the living room with a whole bunch of people, and Sam, first thing he says is, "So did you talk about the finale?" And we both said, "Yeah, he's got to do this, and he wants to do that." And in the middle of it, I had this epiphany that why don't we combine the practical effects and the clay animation, and that we could do a split screen on the characters' faces, for example, or in various shots, and have like the portion that's really visible, have that be the clay animation, and then have the rest of the body practical effects. So you could see arms moving around, or in the case of Cheryl, when you heard Deadite Cheryl, you see the hair fall. That's live action, and we'd film the clay animation first, and then have a mat so that everything outside of her face was painted black on a piece of glass in front of the camera. And then we would change the mat after we'd filmed the clay animation. We'd change the mat so her face is blacked out. And then I had a wig that we'd cut into sections, and hair. I had little strings to pull and hair, and also a cut in her forehead so that bile would leak out, live action stuff, and stream down outside of the clay animation. And so it really helped seal the effect. And Bart had the brilliant idea of double exposing each frame. So what we did was we would shoot 2 frames of the clay animation, and then he would manually rewind the films. The camera has a film counter on it, and he would rewind 1 frame, and then we would shoot 2 frames, and then rewind 1 frame and shoot 2 frames. So each frame had a slight overlap, and gave it just a slight blur, and kind of took that strobing effect out of the clay animation. And he was the photographer on that and did an amazing job. For 3.5 months, in the, I don't know, 25, 30 shots we did, he didn't screw up once. We didn't double expose or unexpose 1 frame during that whole time. And we remained friends. Sadly, he's had a stroke lately, but he's slowly recovering, and I wish him the best. I love that guy. And
brilliant.
But we're getting old, and
well, this is it. We're getting on quite a bit, and I mean, I love the Evil Dead. I was 9 years old when I seen it on VHS.
Really?
Yeah, when it got released on VHS in the UK, before it was put on the Video Nasties list, I went with my dad to his mate's house, who owned a video shop, and we got the first run and pirated it while I watched it, and it just blew my tiny little mind. And went to school the next day telling all my friends about this film, The Evil Dead. And it's just, I've screened it twice because I do screenings, and I've screened it twice, and I've screened the sequel as well, and it's just a fabulous film.
There's nothing like seeing Evil Dead with an audience. I lived in San Francisco when it opened, and I'd go down to Market Street to like the Grindhouse theaters where it was playing, and I've never seen in any film people react to the Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2. I've never seen people react to a film like they did with Evil Dead, where they leap out of their chairs and scream at the screen, and just, Ash, don't go in. Oh, you idiot! You don't go in there. Oh, no, and just Sam's manipulation of the audience couldn't be more of his apparent genius. It's just the way he does that stuff is astounding. But like I said,
I still think he's one of the greatest directors out there today.
Yeah. I I'm certain of that. And I bet you he, as great as his films have been, like I loved Doctor Strange and the Madness of the Multiverse. And I hear he's going to do another Doctor Strange film. But I bet you he hasn't even made his best film yet. I know he's got some great ideas in there. I haven't seen him in ages, but that guy is just astounding. I couldn't have been luckier. Would have been nice to win the lottery, but I think my luck got used up working for Sam.
Yeah, he comes across as a nice guy. How comes he wasn't in Invaluable, your documentary?
Uh, Too busy. He was making Oz and the Oz the
Right.
Great and All Powerful. Yeah.
Yes. No, just wondered. And then after the first film, you did all the book upgrades for the sequels, and you done some stop animation for the second film.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, that was fun. Sam asked me for you on Evil Dead 2 if I wanted to do makeup or other things, and I wanted to do stop motion animation because I thought, oh, it's just getting started with Phil Tippett and
Yeah.
the new generation of people, uh, uh, and so I wanted to try that. And of course, as soon as that came out, stop motion's dead, and they're doing digital dinosaurs on Jurassic Park. And but I got to do it, and I'm very proud of that. And worked with Larry Larson on that, and Brian Ray was my one of my assistants there, or the assistant. And he went on to an amazing career. I think in the mold department for K&B, Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger for years. And uh, anyway, I just was grateful for that, and I got to do some stuff, and I'm very proud of my work there. The Flying Deadite, I designed, built, and animated that, and did some other things like Ash's hair turning gray, the streak in that was stop motion, and Ash's hand growing veins on it. That
Yeah.
was fun, and that's actually Bruce's hand. And we tried 2 attempts. The first time I made a resin cast of his hand, and I did an animation of that, and it was a great cast too. And but Sam thought, no, his fingers should be moving, so I built a stand that had thick wires that radiated out over his fingers, so that that didn't go all the whole way, but like to about to this point.
Yeah.
So Bruce could just slightly move his hands each frame, and so it kind of give it a weird, stop motion-y kind of effect. And while I had a ebony pencil, I think it was, and I would just extend the black veins going out a little further each frame, and that turned out pretty good. And also I created the Book of the Dead for Evil Dead 2, and more Kandarian daggers, but for the Evil Dead the Evil Dead 2 Kandarian daggers, I made didn't think the blade was that interesting, just being a piece of aluminum. So I made it more like a bone cartilage, and it's from a flying deadite, from the tail of a flying deadite, where she had this like big blade thing. And the original Flying Deadite finale was supposed to be a bit longer, more involved with him attacking a bunch of knights, and they filmed the background footage. But despite our warnings against it, Sam had these big fans come in and kick up dust. And at that time, you couldn't put a creature behind the background footage, behind the dust in the background footage. So the people in the background. And since he had a whole bunch of knights on horseback, it had to be one of the most expensive sequences in the film. Professional riders and all that. And, and having their horses all active and all that, and the fans. And darn, it wasn't able to be used. Darn it. And so it just came down to he just shows up and gets his head blown off. I built that part too, the head thing. But Sam's storyboards, the shot was like to its shoulders. So I built out to a forearm, and to like here,
Yeah.
and and had some wing material. But when Sam framed it, he framed it outside of the arms, and you can even see the twine. And that broke my heart. But
it's still a great ending. That ending obviously set up Army of Darkness, which I know you didn't do the book design in that one, and it is
yeah,
the worst book design of the three. I must
I
admit.
sadly agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never been my favorite. Hence why I don't own a Army of Darkness Book of the Dead.
Ah,
I've got a Trick or Treat 2, and I've got the 2 DVD books. Because you designed those as well, didn't you? The DVD.
well, not the current Trick or Treat book.
No.
But I did the first one, but they had somebody else do a second one.
No, the Anchor Bay DVDs you
But
designed.
yes, I did. Yeah, and did the illustrations for it as well. When I snuck in little secret hidden messages in it too.
All right.
It's
What?
it's just disguised English, and with no spaces in between the words, so you have to figure it
Right.
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'll have to dig mine out and have a look for them then. And this all the stop motion effects you did across the 2 films still stands up today.
I so in love with the finale from Evil Dead, and the Flying Deadite worked really well
Yeah.
for me. I'm very proud of that work. I would have loved to have done a lot more stop motion in film, and really learned more about the craft and everything, but that just didn't happen.
But you also did some work on The Fly too.
Yeah, for Chris Wayless. I got a call and they asked me to come in, and uh, there were a whole bunch of sculptors there, and we sat around and they wanted us to come up with ideas for the what the fly creature might look like. And so I did a maquette or two, and everybody did that. And they went with Chris Wayless's design.
Fair enough. That
And
was
but I got to sculpt the legs of the fly creature, the 2 legs that it stands on, and then the head. I did about 80% of the head.
all
And
right. Fantastic.
yeah, I was very proud of that. I got some nice stuff because they show the legs a lot. Also, I worked with Howie Weed, who went on to work for ILM. So I think he's still there. On the dog thing.
Oh yes.
On the it turned there's like a larva shell or something, and we sculpted on that. And my side is the one that got photographed. and I think we worked on the dog too. But I was working under John Berg, another astounding stop motion animator, and that was an amazing guy. We both had kind of the same dads, who didn't quite understand what we were doing and get it, and but who were ultimately, I guess, proud of us. But John was great. He was like the shop manager, and uh, uh, I gotta write him. He was a big influence on me, and he was also, I don't know if you know, the Jolly Green Giant from the Green
All right.
Giant
Yeah.
beans. He worked for that company way back in the day, and and he actually was in the leaf gown that he had on, or the leaf shirt
Yeah.
and pants, or underwear, I guess. And that's him. I could recognize his shape when I saw an old one of it. That'd be like one of the first incarnations of the Jolly Green Giant, standing on a miniature cornfield or whatever, or bean field. And but
Ho
he was a
ho
neat
ho.
guy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but absolutely brilliant. Green Giant. That's fantastic. And you do a bit of acting as well. You've been in a few bits
Yeah,
and bobs.
done some acting. I was in The Dread with Alan Sandweiss, and
Right.
Sally Pressman, and also Buddy Bebop versus the Living Dead, both of which you can get these DVDs on eBay or something. Amazon has Buddy Bebop, and
Right. I'll find
that
that
was
one.
fun. It's a zombie film with music, and the Buddy Bebop song in that is really good. A Little Bit of Love, I think it's called. I think you
Right.
can even find it on YouTube. Yeah, but it's a good song. And I play the owner of a roller skating rink that we filmed in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I was a World War II vet that takes place in the mid '50s. And I'm actually a bitter old man in that one. And but I'm fighting off the zombies, and you have to watch it to see my fate. But I got my nephew Kyle Reardon in that too. He's wearing a raccoon cap that I made for it, because back in the '50s, Davy Crockett on Disney was a big thing, and having the raccoon cap was a must have. And and I'm chatting with him at the store, and his mom's mad at him because he was shooting bottles with his BB gun, and she said, "I'm going to put somebody's eye out." And there's a scene that they shot that was, they cut it out of the film, darn it. But it's where Kyle is at a gas station that we filmed at the Gilmore Car Museum. They have a gas station replica from the '50s. Not a
Yeah.
replica, it's the actual gas station from the '50s. And he's got his BB gun, and he's shooting the eyes out of zombies because that makes them less effective. And he bang bang, and he shoots the eyes out of the zombie and says, "Mom always said I'd put somebody's eye out with this," and it turned into a skill that was usable. And anyway, he just got married this summer.
All right.
He's in his 30s now. He and another film I worked on was called Splatter Movie by Mike Watt, Mike and Amy Watts, and I play me. I play me, and it takes place at a horror haunted attraction, kind of an outdoorsish one, and
Yeah.
I'm just me, a really nice guy, and you can find that one too somewhere. And it's a fun film, and with some fun twists in it. And gee, what else have I done? Boy, that's kind of it. Other than doubling for Bruce in one shot in Evil Dead, where the car drives down, the camera's high up in the woods. You see the car driving along the road. You can't see anybody in the car, but
No.
I was in there in Bruce's shirt, doubling for him because he had something else to do. And I'm the arms at the end in the clay animation finale of The Evil Dead, the first one. I'm wearing the Playtex living gloves with the chicken bones attached to the fingers, and I'm the one bursting out of the guts of Scotty and Cheryl, throwing guts into the audience's lap, which I thought was my duty as the gore master of Evil Dead. So that's my acting, and I've done plays too. I played the creature in a local production of Frankenstein, and primarily because I could do my own makeup on myself. But I got good reviews for that, and even my sister liked it a lot. And and that was fun. And I did several plays in the early '90s at the local theater, and in The Foreigner, and some other ones. But that's always fun to do. The director of Buddy Bebop and the Living Dead said that I stole every scene I was in, and okay, I'll take that.
Well, there we go. That's what you want when somebody gives you that compliment. So, and it's nice to know that you've inspired a generation of monster makers and monster kids as well.
Thank you. I never expected that, but hardly I'm a guest at horror conventions in October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I think it is. I'll be at Cinema Wasteland in Strongsville, Ohio, and it'll be the 25th year of that show. And hardly a show goes by, and I've done many others all
Yeah.
around the Midwest but in the East Coast, where somebody doesn't walk up and say, I'm an artist now because I saw your work in Evil Dead, or I'm doing special effects and stuff like that, and it just always blew my mind because when Willis O'Brien inspired me, little 5-year-old me, to want to do this, and then I've passed that along. I think that's the immortality of creativity, because I don't know who inspired Willis O'Brien, but that energy transferred through people through what their works were, and I've done it too, and I know the people I've inspired will inspire others as well, and that's so cool to leave that with the universe.
And I've got to say, what you've left behind with the Evil Dead, the effects with that film will go on. It's nearly 50 years now, that it came out, and it's still affecting people. People are still loving it. Still, people
Yep.
are still, giving your effects the kind of praise they deserve, if I'm honest.
Well, thank you very much. I owe it all to Sam. He made me look good. He edited that together really well. And I'm proud of him. I'm proud of all the actors and the crew members. And I'm really astounded that my first film and Sam's first film is just such an immortal classic. It really is. And uh, holy cow! I never imagined that I made my own King Kong. Something that really will last. And Sam was clever enough to kind of not give to make it kind of time neutral film. You can't really, other than the old car which they've got, which wouldn't be even
Yeah.
today, driving an old car around for college students is, you'd get some clunker because that's all you can afford. And so it still holds up, and there's no references to anything that happens in the early 80s,
No.
late 70s when we made it. So there's nothing that times it like that. And hairstyles don't really look like that necessarily, that that different from what people wear today. And so it's got that timeless accessibility. And I'm really proud of what I did and what we all did.
And on that note, all I can say is thank you for being on the show. Stick around once I do the sign out, and we'll have a quick natter. But just thank you so much for coming on. I've been a
Thank
fan
you.
since I was 9 years old. I'm now 50, nearly 51. And it's a film I go back to time and time again.
I'm glad to hear you made it okay, because back in the mid 80s, an 8-year-old child saw Evil Dead, and it took 15 years of intensive therapy in a soundproof room just to get him to stop screaming.
And I was put in
Now,
a room with me.
I made that up, but that goes to show the effect the film had on people.
It does. I mean, the person I watched it with was my dad's mate's son, Alan, and he was terrified of it, absolutely terrified. Whereas I watched it and just loved every single minute of it, and I couldn't wait to tell my mates what I'd just seen. At 9-year-old as well, it was because we had no censorship, and I was allowed to watch whatever I want. And obviously, Evil Dead ended up getting banned for a short period of time in England as
Video
well.
Nasty in England, yeah.
Yeah.
I spent 7 years at the Tower of London because Sam and I went there for corrupting the morals of minors or something like that. I
Yeah,
forgot what it was.
that's
But
it.
all water under the bridge.
It didn't corrupt me. It just made me want to chat to the people behind these things, and now I am, and it's amazing chatting to you. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. It's been a delight.
Thank you, and it's a good night from me, and it's a good night from Tom, and we'll see you soon.
Take care. Beware the evil dead.